Hey guys, welcome back to Grace Junction Homestead. I'm April, and today we're going to talk about Doe Code. I was tagged in a collaboration by Two Wild Onions Homestead that was started by Windmill Farm. So if you don't know about those channels, go check them out. They're pretty cool. Alright, so Doe Code. It's one of those things that is like, I didn't think it was real, like I heard about it and I read about it and you think it's a joke. It's like one of those memes, but it's real. It is so real. And anyone who has had a goat through kidding season will absolutely agree with that. We haven't been raising goats for very long. We're in about, I don't know, 18 months or so. But yeah, goats are like the most dramatic animal you can have on your farm. I mean, they're just the biggest drama queens ever. They make our teenage daughters look like just a walk in the park. I mean, it's crazy. The stuff they will pull is just absurd. And they're just divas, especially when they're pregnant and when it's time to kid. And Doe Code is like this big long list of things. It's kind of rules that does will kid by or not kid by most of the time. But they all really center around chaos. and just wreaking absolute havoc. And well, there's a little bit of spoil me in there too, I think. Because they know us, they get to know you by the time they're ready to kid. You've been through breeding season, you've been through, and they all just, they learn people, they learn our behavior the way any animal does. I mean, they watch and they're smart and they know how to manipulate you when they want something. And oh man, it's like kidding season is revenge for every shot you've ever given them, every wormer you ever shoved down their throat, every time you ever didn't let them stop and eat all the leaves they wanted, or, anything. Sometimes maybe you looked at them wrong and they want revenge for that. I don't know. But, yeah. So, it pretty much dictates that they will not kid until there's just exhaustion, until your house is a wreck, until every towel in the house is dirty, you're going somewhere, you have a plane to catch, it's been a long day. The more inconvenient it is for you, the happier they are. It's just the way they roll. You will never have a doe start pushing when your family is fed. They're sitting there and they're looking through your windows, or they figured out what time of day it is that you feed your family, and that's when it is. Like, they will wait until you are so exhausted that you give up on them. You've been watching around the clock. You've been out there checking every hour. Yeah. They'll wait until you're like, I give up. Have the thing. It's whatever. That's when they're going to do it. Or when you're sure that they have days left. I'll tell you what. Okay, so our first one to kid this year was Hannah. Zeke, our buck, got out like, I don't know, right before breeding season was supposed to start. And I'll tell you what, we carefully checked the backsides of every single one of our does. Apparently, Hannah had gone and wiped herself off on a tree or something to hide it, because there was no evidence that she was bred, and yet, and we had no, so we assumed that it was all good. And so the first one to get bred was Martha, And so we were expecting her to come first, and then a couple weeks after Martha went in with Zeke, we put Hannah in, and we thought, she was just being shy about it, because sometimes I don't want to do that right in front of people. So we left her in there for like a week just to be sure, and never saw it. So we didn't expect it, and she started growing, months later, and we thought, okay, well, she must have gotten bred, when it was breeding time. But, anyway, so just before, and we were keeping an eye on her because we weren't, we knew that she was coming close, and we hadn't been through this before. And, so we penned up Martha because she was due anytime, in a couple days, but we hadn't penned up Hannah yet. This girl, by our math, she actually delivered late. She held those babies in until we had an ice storm. And we had been checking on Martha every few hours, just around the clock, waiting, watching, just, to be sure. And Royce had gone out to check one last time on Martha and heard all the goats in the yard going crazy. And he thought, okay, something's going on out here. Maybe there's a coyote in the field or whatever. I don't know what he thought. But so he goes and he checks on Martha, and he comes out, and they're just shrieking. They're freaking out. So he goes over to see what's wrong, and Hannah had dropped babies on the ice. We didn't even know she was due for like weeks. And then, and of course she had to wait. She had to wait until it was an ice storm at midnight before she could have her babies. And, if we hadn't gone out there, we would not have saved the babies. We probably wouldn't have saved her, because we realized later that she had one stuck in there, and her third one was stuck, and it was not a good situation. But anyway, so, yeah, that was a dramatic break-in. So then, and then Martha had acted like she was in labor for, and maybe she was in and out of labor for like a week or 10 days or something. I mean, it was crazy. We were checking and checking, checking and checking and checking until finally we found her in labor. But it was like she was just never gonna kid. And we were so traumatized from Hannah's fun birth that we were just absolutely freaked out and exhausted, and it was horrible. Yeah. So, if you're gonna raise goats, expect the unexpected, because they're tricky and they're sneaky and they're obnoxious, and they will. I don't know if Martha was pretending to be in labor all that time, or if she really was. I don't know. I can tell you that all her babies came back in first, so maybe she was just trying real hard to get them where they needed to be. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So that was the first two. And then, let's see here. What else did we go through? Ellie. Oh, Ellie. We weren't worried about her. We really, really weren't. We wanted to be there, just, because we knew that she was going to have, well, we thought she was going to have triplets. Ellie usually has triplets. So we wanted to be there for it because, kidding season is exciting. We get really excited about that kind of thing. We like to be there. She seemed like she was days away from kidding. We were not prepared for it at all. This was one of those situations where, like, all the towels in the house were dirty. You always want clean towels and water ready and everything just ready for anything that can come. And she, we had got, and it was so funny because Ever was like, she kept going out there and she was like, oh, she's gonna have him, she's in labor. And we're like, there had been so much crying wolf that it was like, okay, it's just not gonna happen, And we had gone out and we checked her and we're like, she's not in labor. she's not in labor. She's not in labor. And we checked her, and then we went back out there an hour later, and she had gone from nowhere near to, look, she had 4 babies. Ugh. I really think that she was just being sneaky and wanted to have them privately and was hiding her labor for as much as she could. Because they do that. Sneaky, sneaky little divas. And then we had Esther, who tortured us. We were, let's see, the night before, we were going on the road down to Missouri to take care of business, and then, I don't know, we were going to be gone for a couple days. And, yeah, so she was acting all like she was in really early labor, and we're like, oh man, we're going to miss it. Yeah, so we checked on her in the night, thinking, you know, this is going to progress. We were sure of it. She was acting totally like she was in early labor. And, I mean, she looked like she was having contractions, and we thought, oh man, okay, so maybe she'll happen tonight. She didn't. Morning came, nope, time to leave. Man, okay, kids, here's what you gotta do. Call me if there's a problem. We'll video through it, you know. We were gone for days. She didn't have any babies. We came back. Still, like another week. She was another one who was overdue. And she didn't have too much problem, really. I mean, she had a little bit of issue, but yeah, so you just never know with them. And it goes that, you know, they're supposed to, if they're sticking strictly to Doe Code, either leave you freaked out all weekend while you're away, or go into labor 5 minutes before you're supposed to leave so that you can't leave because you're so worried about this one doe that's going to have so much trouble, because you only got the one doe that's going to have problems, right? So the one that we expected, you know, we had some issue with all of them. All of them, either their babies needed some sort of intervention or the moms needed some kind of help. So we were really freaked out about Mary. She was our last one to kid. She was our first parishioner. We were really, really paranoid. Because, I mean, we had been through all kinds of issues with the other one. So it was like, okay, we're ready, you know. We were ready for whatever. And she kid without any problem. Without any problem. It was amazing. You know, she was the one who was supposed to have the problem. You know, she was like 3-4 days overdue. She was only having one. You know, and we keep hearing that when they have a single, it's going to be big, and that's when they're most likely to have trouble. Or if they're a boy, and obviously we didn't know if it was a boy or a girl. And so we were expecting problems, but we didn't have any. But yeah. Oh, Doe Code, it's real. It really is. Like, they will do just anything to torture you, you know? And here's the fun thing, like, they like treats, and they know how to get them. And they have figured out that if they can just get your attention, you'll come spend time out there, and you'll spoil them. At least we do. We can't help it. We just do. We love our goats. And, yeah, so they'll holler at you like every couple hours while you're expecting, and you come running out there. No babies. Hour or two later, you hear them hollering. You're running out there. No babies. And they're looking at you like, hi. And they're looking at the alfalfa, and they're looking at you, and they're looking at the grain, and they're looking at you, and you're like, okay, all right. And you give it to them, and they know. They got you trained. Little divas. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this moment and this little talk on Doe Code. And if you are out there and you're thinking about getting goats, you need to learn the code. Because it is real. It is real. And they will mess with you. And the more you care, the more they'll mess with you. Not that you shouldn't care about your goats. But, yeah. So if you have not checked out Two Wild Onions Homestead or Windmill Farm, again, as soon as this video is over, go over, check them out. If you haven't subscribed yet, if you like this video, you know what to do. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Have a blessed day.